So this episode will be recorded in several segments because I don't have much time right now. I will explain that later on. So that might explain why maybe if I don't have enough time to record tonight, to finish the episode tonight, you will see me wearing different knitted outfits. So hello everyone, welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about knitting, my knitting life, my knitting adventures, and my current way of knitting with my two broken wrists. My name is Isabelle, I am in France in Normandy, and today it's going to be a special day because the Tour de France is in Caen today. We are on July 9th, 2025. The city is a total blackout for cars and public transportations and stuff like that. So a colleague is scheduled to come and pick me up in about an hour, and we are going to go work together to another location that belongs to the university. We will have lunch, which will be nice, and then we will work again, and he will drive me back home once we are finished. So I may, as I said already, I may have to record, and I'm sure I will have to record in several segments because I know I won't have enough time to record the whole work in progress situation that I currently have right now before he comes and pick me up. And also I want to be recording. Now we are on a Wednesday. If I want this video to be up on a Friday, next Friday, maybe I won't have enough time to talk about all my current work in progress and edit the video because it's taking me much time. If I have the opportunity, I will tell you a bit more about my broken wrists. Don't worry about these. I wear them because yesterday I was at work and I had taken my splints off as I usually do now when I'm inside. And one colleague was kind of not easy going with the scars and stuff. So I'm hiding them just so that everybody can be comfortable. So after this other very lengthy introduction, if this is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. So first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my Magic Dot scarf that I knit in 2022. Magic Dot is by Intern's Time, and this scarf bears a lot of memories as the pattern was given to me by Intern's Time because I'm on her mailing list and she offered a code for her birthday, and this yarn was bought by my second son when he was at a conference in Cardiff, and he brought me the yarn. So I still have some leftovers, and I have other things that I've knit with the same yarn. I had several balls in gray, one in blue, one in red, and one in yellow. And as I am, it's a summery yarn, even though it's merino. And as I am saying this, I'm thinking I may need to knit some wrists covers, and I have leftover yarn from this one, so that might be a good idea. One of you will recognize, once again, I received the package. When I talk about my mindful buying project, I will have so many things to talk about because I received another package. So thank you a lot. And I really love them, and I do think they match my usual outfit and my usual blue outfit perfectly. So let's stop here and dive into what I have been working on after finishing some of the projects that I've shown you last week. So first one in no particular order, the Gujo Collar. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, by Egionit. She's also Caroline Skofgard. Sorry, I'm butchering your name, Caroline. So the Gujo Collar is a pattern I had seen for myself for a very long time. So as soon as it was published, when was it published? It was published in November 2023, and I really liked the oversized collar, the fact that there is like a dicky, it's not called a dicky, but the fact that there is fabric in the front, in the back, no fabric on the sleeves, so that you can easily wear that under a coat during the winter time. So I decided I was going to knit one, at least for myself. When I showed my sister-in-law this pattern, she said, "Oh, I really love it, I really love it." And I know she was willing to have a collar this way. I'm knitting one for her. This is the first one I'm knitting, and it's for her Christmas present. And I did look a lot for some kind of yarn to use and knit with it, and knit it with. And I settled on, after talking to one of the ladies from one of the local yarn stores, I settled on Holzgarn Cielo. Cielo is 42% alpaca, 42% fine merino wool, and 16% polyamide. This is the color chili. Here is the band, but anyway, it will be linked down below, and at least the projects will be linked down below if you want to see that. And it's a very particular yarn, and there is some kind of a core, and the yarn is threaded. It's like a chainette yarn of some kind. It is so very soft. I was a bit surprised. It's very, very, very soft. A bit, I won't say drapey, but a bit mellow. It's not a stiff yarn. It's a soft and mellow yarn. I'm not sure how to say that in English. And the scarf is, or the caul is knit in fisherman ribs. And I'm knitting that with, I'm not sure I'm going to be seeing the numbers of on my needles, with 5.5 millimeter needles. I think I did swatch for that, but you know, for a caul it's not very important. And you start with knitting in the round. So I think I stopped when the weather was going to be was coming to be too warm. I stopped where I think she can easily raise the collar up to the back of her head or something like that, but not necessarily on the top of her head. And so this is where it's gonna stop. This color is everything, and I really like the fisherman rib effect with this yarn on this needle size. So I'm not sure, I mean, I tried it on. I think it's okay for me not even checking for gauge very, very carefully. And I see the camera is not forgiving at all. I see something here. So let's look at it from the other side. And I may place that little part on the side so that it's kind of hidden somewhere. So this is going on. It's easy to knit because fisherman rib is on some rows knit one below, and on the other rows knit one per one. So it's an easy knit on my hands. This is the only reason why I stopped knitting on it. It's because it's getting too warm, and it was getting too warm on, you know, on my laps. So I just stopped knitting on it. But as soon as the temperatures will be going down, I will start knitting on it again, and I have yarn for myself to knit it. So the project is to knit one for me in the future. Okay, next one is one that has seen a lot of knitting time, plain stockinette, and this is what I am able to be working on right now. Easy stitches, no cabling and stuff. It's too complicated on my wrists, but a sea of stockinette I can. So I'm knitting this next one with Isayer Marilyn. Marilyn is 80% wool and 20% linen or flax. And this one I got at the second of my local yarn store. She carries all the Isayer line, and she can order other colors when she doesn't have them. So Marilyn is a very linen-like yarn to me. It's not as springy as merino can be. It's kind of stiff, so it has a lot of the linen properties, but with also merino. So this color, I'm not sure there is a number or something. Is this a number? Yeah, this is a number 10. So it's kind of a faded blue jean kind of color, and I'm knitting that with 3mm needles. So a finer thread with 3mm needles, that's a lot of knitting. I'm knitting a t-shirt, and I did search a lot before I decided to cast this one on. So I cast it on when my wrists were already broken. Oh, I haven't said which. I have the day I cast it on my notebook, so I may write it on the video and on the project on Ravelry. But anyway, I cast this one on after I broke my wrists and after I could start knitting again, because my splints had freed my fingers, and as 3 weeks into the recovery, I could start knitting again. I did start knitting again. So I was looking for an easy project, 3mm needles, a very long project that can keep me occupied, and something that is not difficult on my wrists for the movements. I can do the movements with my fingers, but not with my wrists yet. So I searched and searched and searched. There were so many candidates, and I finally settled on the first one I had in mind, which is Colocasia by Marie-Amélie. Marie-Amélie has stopped designing, and unfortunately Colocasia is not available online. She's given all of the patterns for free, the ones that have been published online. This one is from a book that I bought at the time, and there is no online file for it. Thing is, I wanted to cast this project on because I like the shape, but I did not like too much, a lot of the lace that's on it. It's the same lace pattern that is repeated, but maybe repeated 2 times on the sleeves, 3 times on the border of the neck, 5 times in the front and in the back, also 3 times on the border of the neck and on the back of the neck. And I did not like too much the effect of that much lace. At first, when I first bought the book, I wanted to cast this project on with the lace. Several years after, I was not really certain I wanted the lace. So I did look and look and look and look for many patterns, and after that I finally decided to cast Colocasia on without the lace. So this is where I am. I've joined in the round, and this is now my zero brain knitting project that I bring with me everywhere because I'm just knitting in the round. So this is where I am. So you start with the back, with one side of the back. I'm not sure I recall which one. So you need first the first V part, then you knit the second one, then you join and you knit down to the armhole opening. Then you pick up stitches, you knit the front from one side and the other one. Then you join again under the armhole, and then you go down after joining. I think, I'm not sure there were that many rows between the bottom of the V-neck in the front and joining in the round. Maybe I did knit a couple rows to give it a bit more length, and in the pattern I'm not sure there is any length between joining the two fronts and joining on the sides. Anyway, about that pattern, about the yarn first. this is merino and linen, only 20% linen, but this yarn behaves as a pure linen yarn, I think. It has some elasticity thanks to the merino, but on the individual stitches it doesn't. It's quite stiff to knit, but it doesn't hurt my hands, so that's okay. But the fact is that as merino, I'm not sure you say that in English, but I would say in French it's totally unforgiven. You cannot make mistakes that won't show. They will show, for sure, they will show. And two things about this one. First, my pickup line, I am quite happy with it. I'm quite happy with it, and on both sides. Both sides are as nice to me as can be. So one thing is when you, it's here. What did I just show you? I'm not sure. It's here. One thing that you need to do when you pick up stitches, if you want it to be invisible and you want the stitches from one side to continue on the other side, you need to pick up in between the V's, not in the middle of the V's. And then this will be quite a nice pickup line, at least in my opinion. So that's the first tip for today. The second tip for today, and I will once again link the video down below, because I have never been able to do invisible short rows until I found a video tutorial about Japanese short rows. And it's quite funny because you need to use removable stitch markers, and she uses hairpins. Anyway, please look at the shoulders. Here you have it. I'm not sure I can show it to you correctly. You have the pickup line here, and you have all of the short rows that are on either side of the pickup line to shape the shoulders. And you don't see anything, and I forgot to leave on one side all of my removable stitch markers so that you can see where the short rows are. They are completely invisible to me, and as I just said, linen is very unforgettable. It shows about everything, and having these short rows not show on linen, and I've already used them and I've already linked the video down below, and I will do it again in case you had not seen that video and in case you are interested into knowing about that. This short row method gives a result where there are absolutely no holes to me and almost do not show on the knitted fabric. The edges are I-cord knit as you go. They do roll a bit, but from the inside. So I will see if I like it once I wear it when it's finished. If I don't like it, I may do something either with a crochet border or knitted border of some kind. I will think about something, but for now, to me, it's rolling in the inside and it's not bothering me too much. So I do like a lot what I did like at the beginning with this pattern. I do like the small V in the back. I do like the bigger V in the front. And the fact that once you are knitting and joined in the round, there is no coming back and finishes to make it and everything. And I'm knitting until I have to get to some kind of border. I think she has a ribbing part, but if she doesn't, and if it's just an I-cord, I will finish with ribbing because I don't want the bottom of the sweater to flare out. It's quite oversized, and from the previous blue t-shirt that I knit, I think I like the t-shirts to be quite oversized. So there you have it, a linen and merino, but mostly linen behaving yarn by Isayer. And in that blue color that I love and that I can part away, but you will see there are other projects where I went away from my blue realm. And this one is the one I'm bringing about everywhere because now it's just knitting in the round and I just have to be careful how long it is on the sides. I know how much length I kind of want from the shoulders to the bottom, with how many centimeters of ribbing I want to get. So this is a very easy knit for me right now when I don't want to be paying attention to what I am knitting on, or if I can just knit a few stitches. Yesterday I spent the full day at the hospital in exams for my hip surgery in September, so it was very easy to pick up, knit, and put back in my bag. So perfect. This is the one that I'm taking about everywhere where I go now. Okay, next one. You haven't heard about it, not even the yarn, not even anything. Because this project, I started it with yarn I got at Le Fil de la Manche that I went a couple weekends ago. And this was an absolute impulse buy, not a mindful buy. All the other purchases I did were already either planned in advance, or I had already thought about it. This one was the opportunity to be in this spot with these people I did stop to talk with, and they were nice. They are in Normandy. It's a bit far away, a bit over 2 hours from me, but anyway, I did get yarn from them. So the first thing I want to show you is the bag that I got, and I got over there. This was the first project bag that I ever bought. Ever. I had always been using either tote bags or bags that were given to me or something like that. This is the first one that I bought as a grown woman for a project bag. And of course, I love the cats. It's a drawstring type of bag with a handle on the sides and many pockets inside, so they are just very nice. So when I saw the yarn, I did started to think about it, and I'm not sure I have the ball bands with me. And Ram says I have many things on the table, and there won't be any spot for you, my poor Ram says. So when I did have, so there were maybe, I would say maybe 50 booths over there. Yeah, maybe 50 or even more booths over there. And I went round and round and round, and I always had that booth in mind because they were selling silk. I did stop and talk with them, and they have what they call bourrette de soie, which is some kind of a raw silk, not the shiny, very slippery kind of yarn or silk you can find. It's kind of it's not shiny and it's not slippery. It's kind of a raw silk, I would say. And of course, I was looking at the blues and I was thinking maybe I should go out of my comfort zone. So I did not go that far away because, as you see, I got some lilac type of silk bourrette. You see, it's not shiny at all. It's not shiny at all. It's a very lace weight. Yeah, I have the ball bands here. It's a lace weight silk, and it's 350 meters per 50 grams. So you see, it's a very lacy kind of yarn, type of weight. And the company is Paulin Company that is in Normandy. So each of the skeins, even though they are dyed all together, sometimes the silk, what she was saying is that the silk does what it wants and it takes the dye the way it wants. And I decided, because they were having a t-shirt that I liked with one strand of the silk but it was extremely see-through, and that I did not like. I like the idea of the silk t-shirt, but I did not much like the idea of the very lightweight see-through and holding two strands together. I was thinking, well, okay, but anyway. So they are also dyeing some other yarns, only French yarns, sourced, GOT certified, dyes and process and yarn and everything. So they also have mohair. So their mohair is 70% mohair, 30% silk, and it's 450 meters per 50 grams. And I got not quite of a matching mohair because what they were showing in the booth, and it was not hanged up. It was not hanged in the booth. She took it from the back because it's more of a wintry or warmer weather type of sweater, was mixing mohair with the silk. So this one is aubergine and this one is lilac. So the one they were having was with a cream or natural type of silk and a dark burgundy type of mohair, and it was giving a nice mild effect. So I was thinking, okay, let's do that. And I was, of course, looking at all the blues and the blues combinations and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't have much of purpley type of colors. I think it's close to the blue so that it can match any of my previous outfits and pants and jackets and stuff I have. And still it's a cold color that I think suits me better, but it's not blue. So anyway, I decided to do that, and I had no pattern in mind. After I went back home and I swatched and I looked at my gauge and everything, I looked for a pattern, and I think this one is a free one. Or did I have a code? Is it? Yes, it's free. It's a Slatter tee by it's by the Jarbo Ravelry store, and the designer is Stine Holgarn Johnson. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering your name. Anyway, I will link everything down below. And so I decided on this tee. Why did I decide on this tee? First, because I liked the shoulder construction. And I did that kind of shoulder construction with my Yvette vest. So it's not a real saddle shoulder, because a real saddle shoulder, you start with the shoulder, then you pick up for the front and the back. This one, you do it all at once. And it's another of these construction that I like. And it was about the same kind of construction, other than Sovabelin was a raglan, but the same kind of idea, because you start knitting back and forth, and then you add stitches as you go for the front, and with that pattern you increase for the raglan and the kind of saddle shoulder. I will show you. But I like this because you are not knitting short rows, but still you are raising the back and not knitting in pieces. So it's a construction that I like for raglan, and I also like it for the saddle type of shoulder. So how is it going right now? Because I took the needles, because 3mm needles, I'm knitting on 3mm needles for all of my current projects, so I need to take the needles out. So as you can see, you cast for the back and the beginning of the sleeves, and then you knit flat. So you knit flat. So this is the back. I'm going to show you one sleeve. You knit flat, where you increase only for the front and the back. And you see the very beautiful marling effect the combination of the two is giving. Here is the result. Here are the two yarns I'm using, so the silk and the mohair. I really like that marling effect a lot. So, and I'm not showing you the proper, yeah. So you knit first back and forth for the sleeves, and when you increase only for the back and the front. So you shape the top of the sleeve that is going to be sitting back flat on the shoulders. When you reach a certain amount of increases, and I was, measuring and counting and stuff like that, because I'm not sure I'm quite engaged with what the pattern calls for, you start increasing stitches for the front, and then you join in the round at some point. When you are joining in the round, maybe at the same time or not very far after joining in the round, so you have the sleeve here, you start increasing on the sleeve side, but you do not increase on the front and on the back. So the front and the back remain with the same number of stitches. My hand is hurting. With the same number of stitches, and then you increase only for the sleeves, so that you are shaping the sleeves here. And I like this line here, so you are shaping for the sleeves. And so I'm kind of looking, so here are the two markers for my sleeve, so maybe I'm going to show it to you on the other side, because on this side I have my little stoppers. So you see, for now, for the sleeves, I need to do way more increases. And maybe if I show it to you that way, you can see it. So you see the flat part of the sleeves, where you increase for the front and the back, and then you increase for the sleeves. I like this line. I think it's going to be fitting me quite well. I am also looking for yarn management a bit, because I have 4 of the silk one and 3 of the mohair. I think it's going to be just enough, and I'm not sure I can make long sleeves. Anyway, it's much larger because I have removed the needles, and I can't stretch it out. Then you pick up for the collar, and you knit a collar, and it's a flat double collar. I like that. I did that for my gallant sweater. I will do the same. And once I am finished with these two ones, I'll see where I am. And if I don't have to cut the yarn, and if I can start to knit in the round just on the body, I will. When I am done with these two ones, I will do the collar to see how it lands and how it fits. I know some people like to do the collar at the end. I prefer to do it before I'm finished knitting on the body and knitting on the sleeves, because it kind of holds the top of the sweater, when it's a top-down sweater, of course. It kind of holds the sweater on your shoulder and on shoulders and on your bust, and then you have a better idea of the sleeve length, because sometimes when you do the collar, it pulls the sweater a little bit up because it's a bit tighter, in particular in this type of sweater where the original collar is a bit wide. So I will knit all these two ones and see how it goes. I guess I'm about halfway through the first ball, the first silk ball, so I think I'm going to be fine. I'm not sure I can do complete full sleeves. Anyway, I love this color. The touch is really nice. You mostly feel the mohair. You do not feel the silk as much. And silk and mohair, you can think it's going to be extremely drapey, but bourrette de soie is not drapey. It's kind of stiff and not much shiny. And so it holds the sweater on itself. And when they showed me the combination of the silk and so bourrette de soie, not just very slippery and shiny silk, The bourrette de soie and mohair, I really did love the touch of it. So it holds on to itself. It's not a t-shirt that is going to be all drapey and falling and no shape. So yes, that's what I brought back from Le Fil de la Manche, the one I've casted on. Once again, a sea of stockinette. So this one, as I'm not knitting in the round, I'm keeping it to knit at home. And once Colocasia is finished, I will have this one as my go-to on-the-go project, knitting round and round and round, because once again, it's more easy on my wrists. Okay, next, I may be good. 10 minutes. Next is a project also you haven't seen, but I think I've talked already about that yarn that I bought at one of my local yarn store. It's Mercy by Phil Colana. Mercy is cotton and merino. So it's 50% cotton and 50% merino. It's more merino than Marilyn. It's less cottony than Marilyn is linen-y, if I may say so. Anyway, in this kind of brownish khaki color, and I had already in my mind to knit some kind of a tank with it. I was loosely looking for a tank at some times when I was having, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I was browsing Ravelry and other places, and I was not finding anything that I liked. So I said, one day something will come to me. And one day, not long ago, because it was a few days ago, on June 27th, and we are on July 9th. So that's not a long time ago. Natasha Hornby dropped a twin set with a tank and a cardigan. I may, at some point, make the cardigan that is absolutely beautiful. It's Thelma and Louise. And Louise is the tank, and Thelma is the cardigan. Beautiful construction, beautiful stitch motifs and stuff, as Natasha Hornby and always does. And I was thinking, she makes perfect patterns. When I looked at the projects and I looked at her samples, they were not difficult looking to me. Knits and purls, mostly. So knits and purls is not as easy as plain stockinette, but knits and purls are not as difficult as cables and stuff. So this one has the cables on and my needles on. Where are you caught up? There you are. And I bought it the day I saw it, and I think I saw it the day it was released, and I started it right away. So as a matter of fact, it's not difficult. So you start with one side of the back. My needles are making noises and my cable. Okay, one size for the back. Then you need the other side. Then you join. Then you pick up, and this is where I am. You pick up for one front. Not easy. You pick up for one front. If I don't want to make any noise and I want to hold this thing correctly, it's not very easy. Okay, so you pick up and knit one front. This is where I am, and then the other one, and then you join, and then you finish in the round, and there is a beautiful motif in the front. The top is a little cropped, so I think I will finish the motif, see where it lands, and add ribbing, and it's separated on the sides. You separate the front and the back at the ribbing section. So I will do that, and I will do as much ribbing as I want. I want to be covering more than just sitting on my hips. This is my pickup line. So once again, so this is 1 and 1 rib. So it was not very easy to pick up and not show. I did that. I had to do that several times in a row But I think I'm fairly happy with my pickup line, which is right here. So you see, I'm holding it here in the middle. So I'm kind of quite happy about how my pickup line is. It's not easy for me to hold it and show it to you. Maybe that way the pickup line is just right there. So you see it, but not too much. An easy pattern, easy to follow. Everything is explained as always with her, so that's fine. One problem I had at the back, so if I show it to you from a distance, I hope it doesn't show much. If you look at it closely, my central double decrease are not beautiful at the beginning because I could not find a way to make them invisible. I did find a way to make them at least all homogeneous at the bottom, and I was so pissed off, so bored with how many times I had to do that, because you do the central double decrease on the front and on the right side row and on the wrong side rows. And the ones that are showing at the top here are the ones from my wrong side rows. I don't like the way it shows. So maybe what I'm going to be doing, if I stretch it a bit, you see how not beautiful it is on the top. So what I might be doing is duplicate stitching, because at some point I was so annoyed with myself, so annoyed with the way it was looking, that I said, okay, I'm going to continue, and at least if it's all irregular, I should have stayed with my irregular every other row central double decrease, because at least it would have been a regular pattern in the irregular thing. But anyway, as I found the way to do it after, and I did not want to start over again, because I had been dropping down, redoing, trying to hide the stitches and everything. It was not working for me. It was not working. So once I found out, I said, okay, I'm going to continue. I will duplicate stitch that part, or I will live with it. And please tell me, but I think I can live with it. We'll see how it is in the front. So I'm not, the body type to wear a tank top as is right just on top of me. But I have two tank tops that I commercially bought, that were commercially made, that I wear a lot under my jackets, under some of my just shirts. When the weather permits, I just have a shirt. And if you want to open the shirt in the front, it's nice to have a tank top that you can show under. But these are just plain ones, and I have a tan one and a white one. And I was thinking, having a couple tank tops that are beautiful, that I can show the top in the front and everything, that's what I want. It's very fitted, and this is also what I want as an underneath piece. I don't want to have I won't, most probably won't be wearing it as is and without anything on the top. One thing I have to say is that from the pictures that she is wearing, the top here, the straps are way more on the shoulders than they are going to be, at least for me. And from what I've seen on some other project pictures, they are much more narrow. So I'm not sure how she achieves that look on her sample pictures, and this is what got sold me on, because it was quite wide, and I think it was laying on top of the bra straps. This is what I like, and how what I'm knitting is not showing the same, and I'm on gauge, so it's not the same as her sample pictures. And I see the same situation in some other projects. So we'll see. I will continue, as it's an underneath and not the layer piece. I'm not too fussed about that, but I will maybe have to think about it if I decide to make another one, because I like the knitting process, I like the shape, I like the broken rib pattern that you have. And some lady at my knitting little yarn store said that the back of the knitting was as nice as the front, which I agree with. I like broken ribs and I like the way they look. So yes, that's one that I'm knitting on at home for now, and maybe I will keep at home because once I've joined in the round, there is a continuing pattern to be following to shape all of the motifs. So I may not have this one as a knitting on the go project. Okay, just a few seconds away for you. A full day of at work and at noontime also with my colleagues for me. It's not very late in the day. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. My colleague drove me back home and I'm here to finish recording this video. We are on a Wednesday and tomorrow and Friday I have a full day of online meeting. I should have been in Paris, but I can't go for now. So I'm not sure. I hope I will have enough time to edit, or I will be able to make enough time to edit. Anyway, I'm most probably a bit less fresh than this morning. So just to finish off this video with my project, I want to talk about Reduplicate by Marie Régnier. And I'm knitting Reduplicate with this absolutely beautiful possum 4-ply hand-dyed yarn by Sally Ridgway that Rosemary from Australia sent me. And this yarn is from Australia. So 80% superfine merino and 20% possum fur. 400 meters per 100 grams, so it's a fingering weight. And I was knitting Reduplicate by Marie Régnier with it. So you may recall, if you have been here for long enough, I had started this project when I was just before I went to the hospital, or when I was in the hospital after my hip surgery. And I had kind of a hard time to understand the construction and how it was going. So I did start to knit on it. I had many problems understanding, and I think it was because of the surgery brain, because the stitch pattern is not complicated at all. It is right now for my wrists, but it's not complicated. And in a way, I understood after I could get back to it that this particular construction, when you knit back and forth and you pick up stitches for the sleeves and do short rows in pattern, is so that you have kind of a satin sleeve design or look without having to knit in pieces and so knitting either flat or contiguous knitting in the round. I have to say, once that I understood that, I was a bit bummed because I'm not sure it is really necessary to go with all these kind of trouble in the way you write and knit the pattern to achieve that effect. Unless really you don't want people to be knitting flat and sewing, which I can understand. But anyway, I was, okay. So I picked it up and knit part of the front, that's the back. I knit part of the front and I've knit the first front, and I was going to pick up for the second front when I fell, had my accident and broke my wrists. And this one has been, suffering in its little corner, being very sad, and I am being very sad. I love the stitch motif. I love it. I love the lace. The lace is not too complicated. It's quite effective, and it does show very well in this purple color. It's aubergine, I think, 13822. And I will link the details down below if you haven't seen the label. But anyway, I think this one bears too many or too much hospital time or recovery time where I could not knit and I was in pain. It's too much. I think this yarn deserves better. I have 3 balls of fingering weight, so I have 1200 meters. There is enough for a sweater. So I have decided, and before I do it, I was going to talk about it with you, and I will talk about it with Rosemary, to unravel it. And Ramses is here, so I'm going to stop to open the door to him. Okay, so I'm not sure where I was when I stopped. I will check, I'm checking with you right now, and I also will check with Rosemary to see if she would be, I'm sure she won't, if she would be too sad that I unravel, reduplicate, and start over with something much easier on my hands, but that would use up this fingering. I'm knitting with 3.75 millimeter needles, I think. Yeah, 3.75 millimeter needles. So, you know, I've knit a full t-shirt and maybe I would say 2/3 of another one since I had my accident on my wrists. So I think an easy stockinette with a little detail with that yarn would be just perfect. And all I have to decide is which type of shoulder designs I would like to be making. And as I've done already a raglan, a v-neck, a saddle type shoulder, I think I may look for a yoke one. I have a couple in mind, and one of them being the Space Time series by Heidi Kermeyer. She has one, the original one is in decay, and it's 22 stitches on 3.5 millimeter needles. So I think I can make this yarn work for this pattern. I love the yoke. The particular increases the way she designed the increases, the way you see them on the pattern, the increases line, which make some kind of arrays. She has several patterns for several gauges, and she even came up with a tank not too long ago. So I've always liked this pattern. It's in my want to make list from or bundle from last year, I think. And I really like it. So I may do that with that yarn. I have enough to make a long sleeve sweater. I have to check my gauge, I have to check the meterage, but that kind of idea. A nice yoke, a bit of a quieter yoke. No, not too much stitch motifs, because that's the thing with this pattern. I can do it, but I can't do it for a long time. So I do 1 or 2 rows and I have to stop. So that's the other reason. But the main reason is I want to finish something with that very beautiful yarn that Rosemary sent me from Australia. And most of all, I want to wear it, and I want to wear it with positive vibes and thoughts and memories into it. Not the fact that I stopped when I was in the hospital. You know, it could be a positive thing saying, okay, well, I stopped, but I went back to it after a while when I was feeling better and everything. Yes, I do agree with that. But when I went back to it, I had another episode, health episode. So I want, you know, something that would be just a plain happiness sweater, because this yarn is so soft and it's really, really nice. I love the color. You know, once again, I went to the purple type of color with my other t-shirt or silk and mohair sweater that has no name for me for now. So we'll see. But what would you think? I mean, I'm the one to unravel on a heartbeat if something doesn't satisfy me or doesn't please me or doesn't work. I have no problem unraveling and starting over something else. What do you do that? Do you have second thoughts and stuff? Do you push through? Do you think, I mean, I know you won't tell me anything, but it's not like I want to be pushing through, because there are too many difficult memories attached to this project, and I want happy memories into my knitting. So yes, that's Reduplicate. I'm going to talk with Rosemary over the weekend. So we're going to talk together, and I'm going to talk about that to her, and I'm thinking about her a lot. Her dear little dog passed away, and she was so very sad and everything. So yeah, please send her happy vibes and happy little stitches. But anyway, I will talk with her about that. But I'm almost certain I will unravel and start something that bears way more positive and happy memories into it and into my wearing time after I have it finished. Okay, there you have it. All the projects that are currently underway. Despite my wrist situation, I'm very happy I talked about unraveling Reduplicate, because this one has been very heavy on my mind because I did not know what to do. And in the back of my mind, it's been quite a few days or weeks after I tried to knit on it again that I was thinking, I need to unravel. So now that I've talked about it to you, now it's out in the world, I feel much, much, much lighter. So a bit of health news. So my wrists are continuing to improve. My right wrist always much faster than my left. I have way less pain in my left wrist than a couple weeks before. I went to the music festival. I was wearing my splints the whole time. And it's also, wearing the splint is also a signal to other people that something is not completely okay with you, and maybe they need to be a bit more careful. So, and this is also why my colleague offered to come and pick me up today for work, because it was too complicated in the city right now. And as we are speaking, the Tour de France is in Caen. I have not seen any footage yet. Anyway, so yeah, my wrists are improving. I did drive in my village to go to the grocery store. Not that I really needed anything, but I went to the grocery store just to check. And it was okay. So I think I will be able to be driving a bit more. Yesterday I had a full day at the hospital for my upcoming second hip surgery in September. And with the Tour de France the day before and all the preparation, the bus situation and the public transportation was a bit complicated. So I decided to drive, to park somewhere in the city and take the tramway to go to the hospital. So that was better, and I could do that. So I'm feeling a bit more confident now. One movement when I drive is this one. So, I do it with my elbow because I can't do it with my wrist. This movement is really difficult. So when I'm steering the wheel, I do this way, the way I was taught when I was learning how to drive. And as my car has an automatic, it's not a manual shift, it's an automatic shift. So it's not very difficult to be driving. So for now, for small distances on path I know and roads I know, I think I'm okay. I did not start driving without the physiotherapist being okay with me to be trying to drive. She said, you can, just up to you. And it took me another week before I finally decided I was going to do it. So that's a big improvement. And so, one more. And my plan is at the end of the month of July to go pick up my mother at her house and take her back here with me for a week vacation. My kids are going to be around, so all of them. So I'm not sure how the filming and posting video situation is going to be at the end of July and in the beginning of August. But anyway, there is one additional video I want to be making is my not so mindful by project. But anyway, I did go overboard a little bit when I was at Le Fil de la Manche. Otherwise, I was very good and I really was careful about what I was doing and I did not overbuy or anything. There are currently 2 boxes in front of me that are waiting to be mailed for other people with yarn and other goodies inside. They were waiting, they have been waiting for a month or something like that because I could not tape them shut. So I think that now I'm going to be able to do that. So I should be doing this in the next few days. So that's going to be one additional thing under my belt, I would say, that I can manage to achieve. So, it's been 2 months now since the surgery. So 2 months is a long recovery time in a way, and in a way not that long. And now that my wrists are feeling a bit better, my hip is, I can say that my second hip is really bothering me. And going to the music festival, I did not go see all of the concerts I wanted to go see because some of them were too late and I was too tired and my hip was hurting too much. But I went to see Air, which was a marvelous session. Really, I like their sound, I like the way they were on stage and everything. It was just perfect. I saw a couple more people, but not the electronica music I wanted to go see because they were on the later part of the evening, past midnight, 1 o'clock or even 2 o'clock in the morning. It was really too late for me. Air was at 11 o'clock at night or 11:30, something like that, and it was really already too late. But as I wanted to see them, I really wanted to see them, I was just in the front. And an Air concert is not where being in the front can be a bit dangerous because people are a bit crazy and jumping and dancing all over. No, not at all. All people, my generation almost, and younger but calmer people. And we were all in the front and enjoying the very beautiful music. So if you do have the opportunity to go see them, I encourage you to go see them. Anyway, there were so many other things I wanted to be talking about, but I don't recall. My computer battery is almost off. So yes, I hope that you are enjoying your knitting. I hope that you are knitting on things that bring you joy, because the world situation, I haven't talked about that at all, but the world situation is just crazy and continues to be crazy. When I thought things were kind of settling down and calming down, no, news and new things are continuing to be popping up and making the world situation a very uncertain place. And I do hope that you can find joy and happiness into your knitting, because we really need to be doing this and hang on to our craft and find positive things into our craft, because it's not going to be coming all by itself, in particular in this very strange world we are living in, and that is getting stranger and stranger every day. Anyway, I thank you a lot for being here with me, and in particular, some of you have sent, I received another package, and I guess I've mentioned that, and I had yarn in the package too. I mean, you are just incredible. You are just incredible, and I'm not doing this to receive anything. I'm doing this because I enjoy our conversation. I enjoy the fact that I can give you ideas. You give me ideas. And when you say in the comment, oh, you know, that pattern, I mean, you've knit it and now I want to make it and I have yarn for it and I will enjoy it because I liked the way you made it and everything. If I'm giving you a little idea that you take home with you and that you make your own, perfect. That makes my day. And I'm so very happy to be here with you. I am so very happy that you are here with me. And I hope I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top. This episode may be recorded in several segments because I'm not sure how long I can stay and how much time. Top. So this episode may be recorded in several segments. Top. The Gujo Collar, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. De la Manche. So I went last. How am I going to do that? Okay. So I may not have this one as a Knitting on the Go project. So 80% superfine merino and 25 and so I'm not sure where I stopped, but anyway, before I unravel everything, I'm checking with you if you have better ideas, and I will check with Rosemary too, because I want to unravel and find an easier project, because I've seen how much I've knit on the 2 t-shirts, the 2 blue ones. Sorry, my notifications.